Tyler Perry getting hit with a $260 million lawsuit from a white man for workplace harassment is crazy work.
Somebody needs to call the police on Tyler Perry.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. Now, I literally just saw this. Okay, I was taking my evening scroll on Instagram, just passing the time, relaxing, chillaxing, and I was shocked, okay, when I saw this pop up on my timeline, and it reads that Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million in assault lawsuit filed by an actor from his show, The Oval. The actor alleges Tyler rubbed his thigh in bed, sent him intimately charged messages, and once grabbed him by his throat and asked if he likes it rough in bed. Now, we hear this stuff on a daily basis, but now it is starting to become a trend. Okay, it was, R. Kelly. We done heard stories about R. Kelly for a very long time. Then it was the Diddy situation. Now, Tyler Perry is being not named for this. And it's just a very weird thing that's going on. This is right off of the coattails of, his movie being #1 on Netflix, the movie Straw, which I'm going to be honest, I watched that movie, I was boohoo crying. Okay, I'm a crier. I was boohoo crying. And, so we're going to get into everything that has, unfolded with this, alleged lawsuit that is, this person, this actor from his show is putting out. And I'm going to bring you guys all the information that I have so far, what I've seen, and we're going to dive into it and we're going to talk about it. So this is the man in question, the actor by the name of Derek Dixon, who again stars in his TV show The Oval. Now, the TV show The Oval is basically about an interracial political couple where, they're power hungry, they go through trials and tribulations. It's like a soap opera kind of thing. And so this man, this actor, Derek, in his yes, he's also filing a $260 million lawsuit, but also he released a series of text messages basically, trying to tell what was going on or showcase the way that he was being spoken to inappropriately by Tyler Perry. So as you can see here, it says the name Tyler is the contact that it was saved by. Blue is going to be Derek Dixon, and then the black with the white text is going to be Tyler Perry, allegedly. So the first message from Derek to Tyler says, "I can call you later or tomorrow sometime." Tyler Perry then responds and he says, "You have a really fresh voice and take on things. I don't know where this is going, but I laughed the entire time. I could see the world and the characters. My exclusivity ends in 30 days. I want to take Losing It out to Amazon or Netflix. After that, engage their interest. But I also want to try and get you with the right people to help you make these shows work. They are not for my audience, but we need to find a home for this stuff. I don't want to miss another Blank Creek. You know that Eugene bought the idea to me first, but I didn't get it, ? Amon gets here tomorrow, so he's got my full attention. I'll be trapped until the day after Christmas, so let's talk then." So obviously it didn't show the messages before that situation. And so what it seems like to me is that obviously this actor also had a show idea, with characters and all that. And so it seemed like Tyler Perry was down, willing to work with him, and, put his production behind the situation and figure out how he can help him to his best benefit. So far, that's what I'm seeing. Okay. But the messages continue. The next one says, wow. I was worried you'd even like it because it's a weird concept. So thank you. Then he shows his next message and it says, "Right. And we just had a heaping dose of it. And now it's back to nothing. It's really weird." Tyler Perry says, allegedly, "I didn't have any contact. What are you talking about? I haven't been touched in months." Then Derek says, oh, you mean touching? I thought you meant being around people. Tyler then says, Jacob. Derek says, I love that you only say that when I'm being stupid. LOL. I guess that Jacob's dumb A version of me. And Tyler Perry says, not dumb A, but blonde. So basically, in whatever conversation that they're having, and this is my issue, right? I can't stand when people, put little excerpts out there, but not the full conversation, because I have no idea what y'all talking about. You can literally be talking about anything. I don't know what you asked him to prompt him to respond to you in a certain way. I'm not really sure. But in this, obviously conversation, he's referring to him as like a dumb blonde. Okay, and so then the messages continue. Allegedly, this is Tyler Perry now talking to Derek, and he says, you know what I cooked, Derek? And Derek responds, spaghetti, cake. Tyler responds, I'm so drunk talking S. Then Tyler Perry, in another message, allegedly says, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless intimacy? Have y'all found that in therapy yet? And yes, it's the same exact kind of car, Geo Metro. Derek responds by saying, giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist, ? That's so cool where you came from. Then Tyler responds to him and says, unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that, and it's so sad. You can be and have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. So I guess from the context, I can only go off of the context of the conversation. And so far in the context of the conversation, it's seeming as though they're having a conversation about, sometimes when people are so far deep into religion or religious beliefs, they have this idea of like, oh, God gonna get me, like if they do this or they do that. And so they're unable to break away from that mindset that is sometimes very much chains on the mind. And, I'm just going to give you guys for an example. There are some women who get married and they've been taught like, intimacy is bad. You shouldn't have intimacy. And even though they're married to their husbands, they still have that guilt of being able to, be intimate with their partner. So it seems as though, Tyler and him were having a discussion about that. Tyler is saying like, hey, it's really sad because I know people who are way older than you who still have that kind of mindset and, are unable to break out of that and be free and live life abundantly. So in the next message, I'm not going to read all of the details, but basically, Tyler Perry starts off the conversation, allegedly, Tyler Perry, and it says, nice, Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? You gotta have a strong no. And then Tyler then again says, well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. And then Derek says to him, I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. JK, I hear you. Tyler then says, well, the only one who could have gotten that for you through intimacy is in prison. So just stick to the no unless you are really into him, with like a kind of like a goofy face. And so again, so far with these, conversations that are being released, the only thing that it's revealing is that they have some kind of camaraderie, right? Where he could go to Tyler for advice. Tyler was offering, the best of his knowledge of how he can maneuver through things or how he can be the best version of himself in whatever way, whatever capacity. And, just alone him saying that you have to have a strong no means that he has some kind of know-how about how things are supposed to be dealt with. Right? He's like, when you go to these places, when you're around certain people, you have to make sure that you have a strong no and you mean it. That sounds like good advice. Okay? It don't sound like nothing weird is going on, nothing strange is going on. It sounds like a friend who is telling somebody new into the industry, hey, no matter what the situation is, you got to know what you stand for. And if it's something that goes against what you stand for, you have to make sure that you make it known that that's not what you're about. The next message from Tyler Perry, allegedly, I have to keep saying that because I don't know. It's a weird day and age that we're in. People be making up messages. People be saying that they said stuff and it's not. It could be fabricated. So I have to keep saying allegedly throughout the conversation just so we're all on the same page. The next message says, I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope you get past that block in your mind soon. Then Derek responds, well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. Again, I don't know the context of the beginning of the conversation, but they're having this conversation. Now, this is where obviously people are shocked, because it's like, okay, I don't know a man who's not into men who would have these in-depth conversations like that. But, I guess it depends on whatever the level of comfortability that you have, whatever situations the two of you guys are on the same playing field, cool with, whatever the case. But, now it starts to get into the nitty-gritty of them talking about intimacy. But again, why would Tyler just randomly send him that, allegedly, unless, this man started some kind of conversation that had something to deal with that situation? Because, how would he know that you're in therapy? How would he know the intimate details you have going on in your life? How would he know what kind of blocks that you're going through unless you reveal that knowledge to him? Now, this is another message, again, allegedly from Tyler Perry. And it says, why did that photo make me jealous, you two together? Derek says, haha, I don't know. It's just Brad, LOL. Tyler responds, LOL. Derek says, he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself, LOL. Then Tyler responds and says, thick Derek, get that Chipotle. Then Derek responds, haha, can you tell from that photo, ? Tyler says, no, I can't, only from your jeans. Derek says, haha, that's how I measure too. If I'm not filling them out, I'm not working hard enough. Tyler says, right. That's a very flirty conversation, okay? On both sides. That's a very flirty, camaraderie conversation. I don't know if Derek is a part of a certain community, and so Tyler is speaking in his lingo. I don't know if Tyler is a part of a certain community, because he's never come out and said that. He's never displayed that openly and said that that's the kind of relationship that he's in. I don't know if he feels like it's just nobody's business or whatever the case. Derek then has another message with him, and it says, well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. Tyler then responds, no, not that person, LOL. Then Derek says, just saying, LOL. Then Tyler responds and says, I feel sorry for the person that you choose. Derek responds and says, and I won't even take an aspirin from someone anymore. Ha ha ha, I would cry if that wasn't so funny. Why? And Tyler responds by saying, what I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. There's another message that says from Derek saying, I know I need to smell the roses more. Tyler then responds and says, you are the rose, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be smelt or opened. Derek responds and says, that is sweet, and I'm working on it. #therapy. I'm really scared that I'm going to waste my life worrying. Tyler responds and says, been there, stopped somewhere in my late 30s, early 40s. Next message was Derek asking him something about how do they make money then? Subscriptions. I don't know if it's one of those platforms to put the alleged or the potential TV show that they were talking about on. And Tyler responds and says they make money from the advertising, lots of money. Then Tyler says, I love how I feel right now. And this is, again, allegedly Tyler Perry. Says, I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being thorny. Okay, you guys obviously know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know if I'm allowed to say it. So that's why I said thorny. And then Tyler says, testosterone. Then Derek says, oh yeah, from the doctor, but is it making you feel better? Tyler says, I feel so good, but I don't like being thorny. I feel sorry for the first person that flirts with me. Derek says, LOL. Tyler says, you don't even understand. So again, how do they know these intricate matters of these people's life? How does Derek know that he went to the doctor and had to get his testosterone levels checked? How does Tyler know, whatever the situation was about Derek and him going to therapy and him having this block in his mind? Obviously, there is some kind of camaraderie between the two. I don't see anywhere where Tyler is communicating to this man and this man is like, oh, you're being weird, or I feel uncomfortable, or I don't like the way that you're talking to me, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Like, it seems like a very mutual conversation. There's no red flags waving. There's not a time where Tyler says something to Derek and then Derek then doesn't respond back or leaves him on red because he felt uncomfortable about the situation, or, hey man, I don't like that you're talking to me. We don't see anything like that. And I hate to draw reference to this, but I have to. It reminds me of, some of the things that I saw when watching the Diddy trial. Okay? And there's some things that Diddy absolutely did. Okay? There's no, we saw it. We saw with our own two eyes what happened at that hotel. Like, we saw some of the things that he was absolutely guilty of. But in some of the testimonies that have come out from, like, the woman Jane Doe, even from Cassie herself, from a lot of the people from Capricorn Clark, like a lot of these women who were talking, it all stemmed of, I was jealous. I wanted to be the main girl. I wanted to be the one who was at the forefront. I wanted to live a certain lifestyle. I wanted to be able to have access to this. And once that wasn't fulfilled, now I'm mad. And again, it's just very strange to me that this is coming, right after this photo was released. And in this photo, it was Tyler Perry on a boat with Mariah Carey's ex, and it said that they sparked dating rumors. So I don't know if this is a situation where Derek feels some type of way because he feels like that's supposed to be him on the boat. And so he has like this kind of scorned lover. I'm so upset because, you just released this #1 movie on Netflix. You're getting all these accolades. You're making all this money. And now you taking Mariah Carey's ex on a boat. Like, what about me? I don't know if it's that situation. I don't know if it's some kind of, niche thing where once they see that, that these men are on the rise or are hitting a certain brink, that they have to, level them back down to size. But it's just not making sense to me. Like, you've been on that show for such a long time. Why today now are you filing this lawsuit? Can you make that make sense to me? Why today now have you said, you know what? Today's the day. What could have happened in the past 2 days, 3 days, or since this movie has been released, that all of a sudden has triggered this in you that you decided that today, now I'm going to file this lawsuit? There was then some of these messages that it looked like it was turned into PDF files of text messages. And this is the thing. Once I start seeing PDF files of text messages and stuff that you've been archiving from how many years, you ain't up to no good. Because you were doing this on purpose, intentionally. Like, there's no way that you just have these, just like, for the courtroom, whatever, people have text messages from like 2010. Like, what the heck? When you have PDF files start to come out, it's starting to make me feel like, okay, from the get-go, you were plotting on something. But in one of the PDF files, this is allegedly Tyler in the gray, and it says, listen to me. If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening up yourself to a lot of questions and foolishness. You want them to know that you are there because of your talent and not because we have a friendship or because Tony got me to give you a job. You earned your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small or they will. I can't teach you everything unfortunately, there are some things you'll have to learn for yourself. Because when we go back to work, I'm not going to know you. I don't have any friends that work for me, my friend. Professionalism is key. Then Derek says, you're totally right. Tyler then says, I hope you got it, my friend. Derek says, that makes total sense. And Tyler then says, just watch the behavior of everyone around me on set. Derek says, yeah, I will. Don't want to give anyone that opportunity because work is work. So now, not only did he put this lawsuit out, not only is he alleging some kind of intimate, things. So far that we've seen, I don't see any proof of what he said about the choking. I don't see any proof so far about the rubbing on the thigh. I don't see any of that so far. And on top of that, he's now trying to paint this narrative where people at work will start to think that him and Tyler was sitting down talking about them. Right? So now you also being messy on top of the lawsuit. I went through these messages looking for when there was going to be some kind of proof of him touching on the side, when there was going to be some kind of proof of whatever situation that happened, of him, putting his hand on your throat, choking you, whatever. I'm looking for that. I don't see it. All I see is messy, messy drama that you were complicit to. I didn't see any objection. I didn't see any problem. I didn't see any issue. And again, it's becoming like this trend. Like, oh, they going up. He's up there. Up. #1 movie. Up. This is going on.
I have made more black billionaires, hear me when I say this, than any studio in this city combined.
And I want to talk about this too. There's a lot of people, a lot of men, okay, who have the idea of, okay, Tyler Perry is being faced with this from another man. That's what he gets because, he's never, stood behind men, and he's always painted this negative narrative about black men.
Unpopular opinion, but I cannot stand Tyler Perry. I hate his directing. I hate his writing. I hate his movies. His shows are kind of decent. His plays are kind of decent, but I hate the storylines, and I hate the way, most of all, that he portrays black people to others. Like, I feel like he makes movies about black people for white people's enjoyment. Like, black men are always the butt of the joke. They're always the butt of the story. I could get into a whole other reason why I think that is, but I'm not gonna do that in this video.
And so, we not standing behind him because we don't forgive him for the way that he portrays us, and that's what he get. And I'm not going to say that you are wrong for your feelings. I'm never going to say that. I'm not going to say that you are wrong for your opinions. I'm not going to say you're wrong for how you feel about a situation, because you're a man. That's your prerogative, your right to stand behind that. But I'm a very objective person. Okay? And when I see foolishness coming against this person and it don't really make sense, I'm going to do it the same way that I was doing it with Diddy. Okay? I'm looking at what's going on, and I trust my own logic. Okay, if 1 + 1 is 2, if you wasn't mad until she got into the picture and she started getting what you thought you deserved, and then you got mad, that means you wasn't really mad. And that's just my personal opinion, what it seems like here. Now, if he is guilty of trying to do something with this person and he's wrong, he's wrong. Okay, we're going to let the court decide. If he's wrong, he's wrong. But this not adding up to me. 5 + 5 is not equaling 10 in this equation. I saw this released from Tyler Perry's lawyer, and it says, this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. But Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. Similar situation that happened with Shannon Sharpe and the young girl. Similar situation that's happened with so many. I can go down the list. And again, feeding off of what I was saying about the movie situation, Tyler Perry definitely has his niche. And in that niche, it is telling the stories of black women who have been in tumultuous situations. And I know that a lot of people can't stand it. A lot of people get tired of it. A lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people feel like it's keeping people in a certain stagnant space. Listen, you are allowed to have your opinions of the work, of the art, of the situation. But in real life, again, let's separate the two. This situation don't make no sense. Bottom line. I'd like to know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.